And then the next episode starts off where they're actually in the coordinate realm, and Zeke is his goal is to like show Eren everything. Like that's his goal.
A really cool thing about this is at the very start of this season, we see like after Levi blows up, we basically see how Zeke comes back. They show us the coordinate at the time. I don't think they say the name, but Zeke is there, and there's like a girl rebuilding his body, and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He says like it feels like I've been here for an eternity, but also for 1 second, etc.
And somebody says, "What happened?" He says, "I don't know."
Yeah, and then before he leaves, he like looks at the beam, and he's like, "Oh, those must be the paths." And then like he wakes up, and then he's butt ass naked talking to some guy with his dick out, and he was just like,
"Yeah, he definitely was butt ass." And they just staring at my man too while he's butt ass.
Like nobody offered him a towel, a rag, nothing.
Yes. So I guess at this point you've seen Zeke and Eren technically die, right? They've both died.
Yeah.
And I'm using air quotes for the people on Patreon who are watching this as opposed to listening to the audio. But yeah, we've seen both of them die now. And now they're both in a realm. Who starts off? Does one of them start off handcuffed in this realm immediately?
Zeke is shackled. We find out that he's using the shackles to like trick and test Eren.
Right. Zeke he was asking Eren like, what do you really, what do you want to do for real? He wants to see, because Eren and him had a pact.
Yep.
They had a pact. They were going to do this, euthanize all of the Eldians and make it where they can't reproduce. That was the goal. But Eren pretended like he was with it, but Zeke knew, and the way they showed that Zeke knew is because Eren dropped the baseball when he threw it at him.
Yeah. It was a cool scene.
I love that scene. I love that scene.
You know what's fucking fucked up about Eren, though? I feel like he was ready, so in that scene, Eren goes to shake his hand. Eren was ready to start shit there. Like, if Zeke shook his hand, I feel like Eren was ready to get it popping.
Oh, me too. I definitely think if they touched right there, Eren was going to go postal and wipe out Marley. And then he was going to do the rumbling from there. Like, because he could do it from anywhere.
Yeah, I think Eren was ready to pop off right there, and then Zeke goes, oh, we shouldn't shake hands. We shouldn't touch yet, and let's throw a baseball.
Yeah, because Zeke needed more time to think. And he didn't fully trust his younger brother, which is smart because if he, like you said, I think that if he touched Eren right there, Eren was like, gotcha. But they do go for a handshake to kind of solidify their plan. And Eren, we know Eren's not with that shit. When I first heard the euthanize of all Eldian plan, I knew that Eren was not going to be with that. There's no way. So yeah, they're in this realm. Zeke is pretending to be shackled. And then you get this like little reveal that he's actually not at all shackled, and he gets up and he's like, I there's a lie that's been told about how this power works. She actually listens to whoever is a royal family member no matter what. She can't like disobey. So then Eren ends up shackled. And I was like, God damn it. I was actually annoyed at the end of that episode when Zeke did the switcheroo. I was annoyed because when Eren started talking his shit, I was happy, dog.
Yeah, you were hyped. I was hyped too.
When Eren was in the coordinate realm and he was talking big shit, like I was never going to do that plan that you came up with. He was
like, you're an idiot. Like,
yes, when he started popping his shit, I was hype as fuck. And then the next episode, you get the switcheroo, and then Zeke starts popping his shit, and then Zeke's like, let me walk you through everything that's happened. And this is the best episode of Attack on Titan for me because this basically brings everything in full picture. Like it's the full picture of what's really happening here. So they're going through, and Zeke has always been under the impression.
Well, wait, hold on. Before, does Grisha's memories happen first, or Ymir's memories happen first? Because the Ymir flashback, I think, is pretty important too.
That one is important as well. Yeah, that one's important. We're definitely not going to gloss over it. So I guess I'm not sure the chronology of which one, because I watched it when it first aired, and it's been a couple of weeks now. It's been probably months now since that episode aired. But
yeah,
we do get a Ymir flashback where he kind of explains like I guess Zeke doesn't explain, but the show just does an episode just based on her. Oh, and the cool thing about that episode is that it's called like To You from 2,000 years ago. And that first episode of the show is called From You 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
There's like that little correlation there. Eren and her have been talking to each other in a weird way this entire time.
They show that like Ymir's not an Eldian. She's just like a person. She's like a person, and the Eldians were just like a traveling war tribe or whatever that comes and ends up enslaving this village, and Ymir's just like a random slave. And then one day, she's literally like getting hunted. They like send her out. She's running for her life. She's getting hunted by the Eldians, and then blah, blah, blah. She ends up like in a thing. then she connects with like this spinal cord alien thing.
Yeah, literally a fucking alien. I don't know how else to describe it. And the show actually leaves this ambiguous. It doesn't tell us where it came from, what it is. It just connects with her and it gives her this ridiculous power.
Yeah, and then that's how she becomes the founder Titan. But her being a slave for almost her whole life now just goes back to the King of Eldia.
And the crazy thing is, after she gets the power, she continues to be a slave.
Yeah.
To the king, and the king is awful. He's an awful human being. He's like, as a sign of gratitude, I'm going to let you carry my seed.
Yeah.
Which is like, some really rapey Game of Thrones type shit.
He's a disgusting person. And it's
like
crazy.
Some Joffrey shit.
Like
it's like how Joffrey said, I'm going to put a baby in your belly to Sansa. It was giving me that vibe.
It's crazy how like indoctrinated she was though, because she could just wipe him off the face of the earth.
She could wipe out him and his entire army.
But she was just like shackled by like this being a slave.
And now that you said that, it reminds me of something else too, because slavery is a mindset, and that's pretty much she had the power to end her slavery and the slavery of everyone else. Technically, like right, like she.
But she could have easily ended it.
But mentally, she was a slave, and that's the more important thing. And that, that kind of goes back to real life too. Like there were more slaves on the plantation than there were slave owners.
Yeah.
So in a way, the slaves have more power. So she being a slave, she had more power than the king, and she's going out winning wars for this man. Literally, they show her wiping out other countries and shit in war, wiping them out. But yeah, she has a slave mentality, so she never breaks out of it. And at some point, somebody makes an assassination attempt on him, right?
Yeah. So this is what's first. They have 3 daughters, and this was like cool. Their 3 daughters are Rose, Maria, and Cena. The name of the 3 walls. So that was so. When they did that, I got so fucking hyped. Just because like it's just such a little thing, but it was really cool. But somebody tries to make an assassination attempt on the king, and then she jumps in the way. She gets hit by the spear, and she ends up dying. And the king's like, "Get up! Like I know you can get up." But she ends up actually dying. And my guess here is that like it's been 13 years and her like it's kind of like run out, like her powers run out. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing that was like the end of the road for her.
Yeah, because we don't really understand. I have to imagine she didn't die from that.
Yeah, like the spear isn't what killed her. I assume it was like the end of the road for her being a Titan.
That makes sense. You're right. I think that her 13 years was up, and then he makes the daughters
eat their mom.
Yeah. And he's like, make sure you don't miss any bit. And so apparently
her spine specifically,
which I don't know how he just knew that would work like that. I think that's interesting too. That the show kind of leaves that ambiguous.
Yeah. I'm assuming she told, I don't know. It's tough to say.
It's a weird thing, right? Like, because the thing that attached to her definitely was a spinal looking creature.
Yeah.
But he didn't see that. And I don't know what actually told him gave him the information to know you have to, and specifically the spinal fluid is what you need. But the main point here is that he made his 3 daughters eat their own mother. And in the anime, they kind of black it out a bit. They don't show it as gruesome as it is. You just see like parts of her body on a table. But then I went and looked at the manga just to see, because I heard that the manga was darker, and the manga is way darker. It just shows it. It shows the kids with the blood all over their face.
Yeah.
It shows her remains and everything. It's really dark. So yeah, they eat their mom. They inherit the Titan's power. And yeah, that's kind of her backstory. It's very simple, but it's very dark. And it's fucked up too. It's very dark and fucked up.
And it shows how like the Eldians. So it's interesting because like the Eldians were just like a war tribe, and then Ymir was just a random girl. But how the Eldians as they are now became what they are now is that he sort of gave the order on his deathbed, like, all my 3 daughters go out and have a bunch of children, and when you die, your children will eat you. And then like when they die, their children will eat them. And so like what essentially created the Eldian race, and the fact that all of them can become Titans, is the fact that like there was a lineage of children eating their parents and inheriting like this Titan.
One thing I wish that they did was that I wish that they went into how the 9 powers got divided like that.
Yeah, that's something that I don't know if it's going to get revealed a little bit.
I don't
later,
think it is. I don't think. I think that's. I personally, at this point, I don't think we're going to get anything about the 9 and how that power got put apart and everything. I think they're kind of past that. And that's what I don't know. Maybe they will spend an episode on it.
Like maybe we missed something. I don't think we did.
I don't think we did either. Because remember, I used to ask the question: Eren has 3 Titans. How do you separate his? If somebody eats Eren, they get all of them. They get the Warhammer, the Attack, and the Founder. So I was saying, how do you separate without him just dying? Because if he just dies, the power goes to a random Eldian in the world.
But is that even true?
We don't know.
Like, I know that's the story, right? Because they knew that Paradise Island had the Colossal Titan. Because they were like, if not, like, a random Eldian would have been born with it or something like that. But, like, that sounds like, is that true? Like, that seems random.
Yeah, I mean, we as viewers have not verified the 13-year thing either.
Yeah.
From a viewer standpoint, because I used to ask questions. I had all these theories. I was wondering if Eren's lifespan got stacked a couple times because he's consumed multiple Titans. So does he get 13 per Titan?
Yeah,
or is it just 13 period? Does the clock reset if he eats a new Titan? You know, I have all these mathematical questions.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.